Fallout New Vegas has a bit of a modding problem. So let's find out what it is.
You've made your last delivery, kid.
Links in the video will be in the description.
Sorry you got twisted up in this scene. From where you're kneeling must seem like an 18-carat run of bad luck.
By the way, watch him the whole cutscene. He has, I don't know why, but they made him just really funny.
Truth is, you shouldn't have installed 150 mods, and especially not the femboy death clause.
What?
Fem,
I've seen
femboy.
the feminine death clause, not the femboy ones. Fallout in general. Fallout, I don't know why. But they have a really, really horny modding community. If you go on Fallout 4, or any of them, but 4 especially, on Nexus, and you're on the front page, and you're on most downloaded, it's all porn. All of, well, not all of it, but there's a decent bit of porn there.
Fallout is a game franchise that has been very popular ever since Fallout 3, which was released almost 2 decades ago now. Fallout 1 and 2 were cult hits, but revisiting them in the present day, you may as well slowly grate your genitals off till all that's left is a nub.
I tried playing Tactics.
They are very difficult games.
It's, yeah,
and you may as well
it's an
praise
experience.
the RNG gods when playing them. But out of all the games in the franchise, there is one game that stands out from the rest.
One
Best
game
Vegas.
where Obsidian Entertainment gave gamers a face full of content so good the taste is still in most fans' mouths
To this day.
Yup.
The same can't be said for the supposed successor made by the same studio.
I
that
thought
edged
Outer Worlds
fans
was
only for
okay.
it to be.
It was alright.
But that game still has fans comparing it to the modern Bethesda games, and is evidence for the common rhetoric found that games just aren't made like they used to be anymore.
Well, of
If you
course
do
they're not.
conform to that, good luck with your 3 PM nap.
Back then, gaming was made because someone had an idea that they thought would make a great game. Now, gaming is just, I have an idea that'll make us a lot of money. And it's typically not a good game. It's typically just, a live service slop.
But that game is Fallout New Vegas.
A game that still has 5,000 players
Holy fuck!
playing it daily despite being released in 2010. And is
And as well, that's not even counting consoles, and I think if you run it modded, it technically doesn't run through Steam.
doing better than the latest Bethesda game.
And that's just people playing it on Steam, because most people
Yeah, we'll run it through Vortex.
play it on a client, so maybe add an extra 0 to that number.
Well,
Personally,
okay,
Fallout
that
New
might be a
Vegas
bit
comes
much.
second in my all-time favorite Fallout games. That number 1 spot goes to Fallout Shelter, primarily because of the amount of gambling I can do in that game. I know Vegas has it, but Fallout Shelter feels more rewarding.
Now, if by default
Okay,
they
fair.
added a bonus feature to the slot machines with all the bells and whistles and flashing lights,
It would be a different story.
but there was something about Fallout New Vegas that kept people coming back.
The characters, even though it had the same gameplay as 3, or the same gunplay, it just felt a lot better. The world just feels better. Like, I prefer the Nevada desert to Washington. I just thought Washington was kind of a shit, like, not a shit area, it's a good idea, but they played it really poorly.
Maybe it was down to a whole different studio
And the DLCs as well.
making it in only 18
I think DLCs are doing quite a bit of heavy lifting.
months, which was technically a premature ejaculation compared to how long it took Bethesda to make their other games,
Maybe the reason people kept coming back
was down to nostalgia from the great radio music like the Ink Spots and Jingle Jangle.
Big Iron. Don't get me copyrighted.
And let's not forget about Mr. Vegas himself.
It's me again, Mr. New Vegas, reminding you that you're nobody till somebody loves you, and that somebody is me. I love you.
I think his only competitor is Three Dog, and still Mr. New Vegas absolutely clears. or people return due to the nostalgia of your first playthrough, where basically everything was foreign. You didn't know any of the map locations, any of the builds, and you had that enjoyment of discovery.
That feeling will never come back, by the way, no matter how.
Yeah. I tried replaying the game without metagaming. Not a good idea. It's still fun, but when you know like the most optimal strategy, but you go out of your way to not do it, it just, at least to me, it feels so limiting.
How many times you do a new run and then forget about it a week later, and then when you come back to the game a few months ahead, you've completely forgotten where you were in that previous run, so you just start another one,
Yep.
and the cycle repeats, where you either choose to get
Exact same thing as Minecraft.
bukkakied by the obese, Mothra-looking, roofie-supplying, rage-inducing
Cazadors are not hard
or
to
if you
kill, bro.
skip
Just
all
cripple their
dialogue
wings.
and warnings.
You can get your anal glands stretched out in Deathclaw
Okay,
Quarry.
where's the modding start though?
Ah, so nostalgic.
Or maybe it was down to the
Even
best
when you're max level and have the best equipment in the game, the quarry is still quite a hard area.
storyline, better dialogue options.
This was so funny.
Oh, I see how it is. You think because my father walked out on us when I was 5, now I have to yell at people.
This whole
Or
area
because
is
my
just...
mother was a deranged chem fiend who regularly brought strange men home who told me to call them uncle. Or because my sisters would lock me in a shipping crate when they didn't want me around. And my brother... God, I'd forgotten about that. How could they do that to me?
And there were better options for factions.
Royalty
where they
is here
actually
now
had
just a
depth and
VTuber?
actually felt like
He's
he
just
was
an
doing
NCR
something,
Ranger VTuber.
which you can't say for Fallout 4.
Oh,
Maybe
bro,
Fallout New
the
Vegas
railroad
just
was
has
so
a loyal
fucking
player
stupid.
base because of the pure amount of femboys and fairies that play it. Like, it is a stereotype at this point. You cannot tell me otherwise. You are lying if you don't know.
I like to ignore communities of content I enjoy because I always find the communities are fucking horrible. And they just make me hate the game. I did not know Fallout New Vegas was full of furries and femboys. I actually have no idea.
Notice the statistics.
But I know I just on Fallout 4 a
making the
lot.
Joker.
Sorry to say, Fallout 4 blows Fallout New Vegas out the water in terms of the combat system.
Oh,
as
yeah.
Fallout New Vegas' combat system is obviously a bit outdated. Like attempting to shoot
Even
someone
when the
outside
game came
of
out, it was
VATS
outdated.
sometimes made me feel like I was periodically developing Parkinson's, and the next addition to the franchise did improve on that.
And that's probably one of the only flaws with Vegas, except for the constant crashing. But those issues
And that's why most people play it through a client like Vortex. You kind of have to mod the game to make it work.
can be fixed by simply adding mods.
There are a lot of mods for New Vegas, some that are even mandatory for a good run of a game
Yup.
that is almost 15 years old. There's even a newly released mod pack
Viva New
that I've
Vegas.
seen on Instagram Reels that essentially breathes fresh air into the old
Well,
game and can
there's
even
two
be
Viva New
considered
Vegases.
a remaster. That mod pack being called Wildcard, and it has 1,400 mods. So your
What?
PC is going to be violated.
I personally
Is that your PC?
400 mods. So your
I do not like these cases. I love me a good fish tank case. I have a nice fish tank case. The only problem is because of the layout of my room, it has to be on my left side. And because of how my case is, because it's on my left side, I can't see any of my RGB. Because it's all, like, it's supposed to be viewed from the right. So, I can see my colors bouncing off the wall, but I can't look at them. It's a shame.
your PC is going to be violated.
But, like, I prefer to have fans here.
I personally run vanilla New Vegas because
Doesn't
if
really
it's
make
on
a
the
difference,
Steam Workshop, I
but-
do not trust it. I got many viruses through Minecraft mods as a child, and I'm not doing that again.
Some mod
You probably downloaded them from Google instead of Forge. Although, when Royalty is here, is probably around the same age as me. So, when he was a child, about 10 years ago, it depends on what he classes as a child, but about 10 years ago, no, Forge existed in 2015. Yeah.
mods improve the
No,
graphics
I
of the
don't
game.
know.
Some, as said, improve the combat system.
Oh,
Some
wow, a
add
lean
more
mechanic.
things like guns to the game, to the point where it starts to look like your average sweaty Tarkov player's inventory.
I
And
love
some add
the gun
content that would definitely defy the
difficult
Geneva
feat.
Convention, but make some people very happy.
And then, oh fuck!
And there are some on the opposite side of the spectrum that I would consider heresy and actually thought would have been banned, which we are going to be talking about later.
There are
Okay.
also some that aren't
Oh, sex
completely
mods.
satisfied with Fallout New Vegas, and the 4 DLCs that expand the game even further, but no, that wasn't enough for some people.
They
I
make their own
personally don't need
DLCs.
to launch Fallout New Vegas to feed my craving anymore. I can now easily satisfy my Fallout fix by occupying my brain with the Fallout lore videos or some old videos by the late Meeting Squad.
I love zip ties.
But some
Yeah, his story is really sad.
fans wanted more. They didn't want to put Fallout New Vegas in the
And he
ground.
made some
just
great fucking videos as well.
Yeah, and there's actually mods that expand onto the
What is it called? Fallout New Vegas Dust, I think it's called. Yeah, this is fucking notorious.
base game through completely new maps to visit with new systems and characters.
Yeah,
that probably
this
requires
is it.
200 mod dependencies just to run, and also requires a team of people and countless years just to push this type of content out. Hell, the Fallout 4 London mod took 5 years to make. Imagine that with Fallout
They
New
made
Vegas,
it,
you're
and then
basically
they
working
updated
with
Fallout 4 so it
Windows
didn't work.
Vista at that point. And these projects can be highly
I still haven't played London,
anticipated,
I probably
even
should.
ambitious.
I might do that as
Promising
a stream
to add
one day.
things that would make
I
the
have
average
content
Fallout
for the
player
next, like, 3
salivate
months,
at
so-
the
so-
mouth. No, not that type of Fallout player.
Enclave
And there
Fanboy.
are quite a
Jesus
few
Christ.
of these, but there are even more projects we never got to see but were being promised for years, or some that were severely disappointing upon their release, and even some having some very concerning
I'm dreading taking off my boots tonight. After running around, my feet will probably be rotting fish to shame.
controversies
We'll put
surrounding
rotting
them,
fish to shame.
which gets onto the topic of today's video.
I have a feeling I
Today
know
I
what one
wanted
of
to
the
talk
shits
about
there
the many
is.
controversies of the Fallout New Vegas modding community. And the first one, to be honest, is a bit of a warm-up compared to the others.
I don't know this one. I haven't really paid attention to the modding
So
community in a
Fallout
while.
New Mexico, or Fallout New Era Mexico, was a highly anticipated mod said to be on the same level as the aforementioned Fallout London, and it was expected to be a whole different game inside New Vegas. It promised to expand the story of Fallout to the land of Mexico.
And plan to implement things that even the Fallout games to this day do not have, like being able to choose your origin. From only 2 options.
Convict or Dreamer? What the fuck does Dreamer even mean?
But it's still better than either being forced to have daddy issues or forced parental responsibility.
This was so
Based
stupid.
on your choice, it would decide your starting point and potentially some of the story.
Why is there a fucking
Obviously,
zombie
on top of
in charge of you?
a new map, new characters with added dialogue by voice actors, a new engaging storyline, and also new weapons with one that looks like it was inspired by the old Tachanka build before it was turned into abysmal dog shit.
All around, there was a lot of hype for this mod, with the trailers, teasers,
Almost a
and gameplay
million
reveals
views.
on the development team's YouTube
On a
getting thousands
mod.
of views. People were excited for this mod.
Okay, well, to be fair, 800, it was 800,000,
The development of
500,000,
the mod
and
was
50.
done by Lickshall Studios, an indie team that consisted of a small team of 4 modders, including the leader Zapshock.
The development of the mod would begin in roughly 2021, with their
Mhm.
uploads on their YouTube channel announcing and teasing the mod.
After which the only content uploaded to said channel would be occasional teasers, gameplay, music involved in the mod, and trailers for the project, with a majority of the activity being in late 2024.
But obviously developing a mod of this scale isn't going to be that easy.
First you have to
Especially
create
with
asset.
like a New Vegas. It's hard enough on Fallout 4, which is far more stable than New Vegas. I can't imagine how nightmarish it would be with Vegas.
the terrain, fabricate a storyline that works well with the Fallout universe,
And is on par at least with Vegas.
base game. You have to script events, quests, and work with a dated engine that was also used for the previous Fallout.
It was dated. It was dated when the game came out in 2011. It was dated even then. Fuck, it was kind of dated in 2008. So God forbid how old, like, I try to use it now.
Game released in 2008. somewhat limiting your capabilities and performance.
And might I add, doing it for free whilst probably still working a normal 9 to 5. And the only time they could work on it was in their own time, fueled by their passion for the project. And from what I saw at least, they did put their blood, sweat, tears, and nut into this project, and truly wanted the Fallout fanbase to experience this new
Are those based on the fucking cut creatures from Fallout 3?
expansion to a beloved
Oh,
game.
they're actually cut from
But
76, I think.
unfortunately,
not
this
3.
mod would never release. Production was put on hold in June 2024, and at the same time, their official YouTube channel went silent and was scrubbed of certain uploads. Maybe in preparations for the trailers and official gameplay that were about to be posted, or maybe signs the project was struggling. And finally, in January 2025,
cancelled.
even with the new trailers and gameplay footage just being posted, and many people anticipating the release, the project was officially cancelled, citing a heavy workload with the small size of their team, mental struggle, and the overall cost of the project.
But they not have just passed it on to someone else. Also, like, the Fallout New Vegas community is quite big. I'm sure you could have gotten people to voice act for the game, or even go on Twitter. There's quite a few people on Twitter who voice act just for the love of the sport.
Being too high.
Keep in mind the development of this mod was on and off before this, but now it was officially over. Players would never set foot in a nuclear New Mexico.
And many people, some that probably were eagerly awaiting this release for years, would mourn the loss of such a project upon hearing the news. It was actually covered a lot by the media, which just shows how much people cared about this mod.
But why are we talking about this mod in a video about controversial Fallout mods?
I'm going to take an educated guess to say someone else somehow got their hands on the code and then just shit out some half-assed mod.
Did the mod team do something unspeakable? Did Discord DMs get leaked? Am I
Discord DMs? Oh! Bro, seriously, I have said this like 100 times and I will say it again. If you're going to be doing shady shit, delete your, don't even DM it for starters, but if you do, fucking delete those DMs the moment they are seen. Do you know how many YouTube dramas and like just online dramas could have been resolved if people just fucking deleted their DMs? Pirate Software would actually still have a career if he just deleted DMs. Like, it's fucking crazy, man, how many people get caught because they're just too fucking lazy to delete them. Don't edit them because it says it's edited. Then it's obvious you did something. Just snap, gone.
Going to have to watch a full 4-hour documentary a year later on top of the Fallout analog horror stories I have in my favorites? No, it actually wasn't the mod
The analog horror is actually decent. I watched it.
team's fault for the controversy that surrounds this mod. It was actually more on the side of the fans.
Whilst yes, there were speculations at the time, like some of the assets were stolen and used without permission, these were still speculations with no evidence.
But certain individuals in the community itself were to blame for the controversy surrounding this mod.
Because upon its send-off, some would start launching harassment towards the team behind
of
it,
course.
especially the head developer.
Obviously, some people would be mad that something they waited for so many years hasn't been delivered. But one, they didn't really pay for anything, it was free.
Yeah, if you're that mad at the devs, just give them the money they need. Straight up. Or if you can't afford to give them money, because I do understand that, voice act for them for free. It's probably going to be shit, let's be honest, but it's one less person they have to pay for.
And two,
You know what I
not
mean?
just on the mod team, but people should be used to disappointment in the gaming environment by now. I'm still waiting for my refund for the Stomping Lands.
But on top of
The fucking what?
harassment, a malicious rumor would also be circulated
Bro, one of these fucking reacts. Why is there a prank?
with alleged screenshots that the lead developer Zapshock had entered America illegally and was being deported by ICE. That's
What?
why the mod couldn't be developed. Now, on top of being a lie,
What?
Zapshock would respond to this by saying all of this is false and manufactured drama by those a part of the modding community that are racist and just don't want to see someone different from themselves attempting to make something as prestigious as this.
So because the mod never came out, the developers
If
faced
you're going to
harass-
cancel it, I don't know if you should be glazing yourself in the next post. Yeah, the reason why they tried to paint this false narrative of me is because the mod was just too fucking good. It won't ever come out, but trust me, bros, it was a fucking 10 out of 10.
Harassment, a circulated false narrative, and one of the developers is only just returning to the modding community after stepping away.
But ultimately, the mod was cancelled, but the people behind it did have a great vision, and put much of their free time into it at the sacrifice of both their financial and mental health to meet that vision, and most certainly did not deserve the backlash they received afterwards, especially when they were performing a task not many would even attempt due to the pure scale of the project.
Nowadays, some of the assets created for this mod can be found uploaded to certain modding websites, so you can somewhat experience what could have been. Speaking of which, let's talk about something that definitely shouldn't have been.
Single-handedly, you brought
Is it what I think it
mankind's
is?
best hopes of forward progress crashing down.
NSFW
No
is doing quite a lot
punishment
of
would be too
things in
severe.
this.
So this is
Fallout.
something that has affected not just Fallout New Vegas, it affects Fallout 3 to 4, most
Yeah.
Bethesda games, and a lot of the games that allow modding capabilities.
Horny.
And that is gooning.
Yes, instead of deciding if you want to do a melee or sniper build for your next run,
Decide who do
you
you have
now
sex
have
with.
another option for a gooning run. Did the Fallout 4 Assaultron ever make you feel some sort
I
of
know
way?
the mod he's
Well, now
referring
you can
to.
explore that with the use of mods. Gooning mods.
NSFW mods that let you explicitly interact with some of the characters of the game.
Like, it may be beyond my comprehension, but what do you do after you're done gooning? Just clean yourself up and continue looking for one of the brains for Rex?
Yeah,
like, I personally
the idea.
don't understand
Like,
it.
the intimacy, it exists in all, I think all the Fallouts, but it's literally just cut the black, it's a moaning, and then you get like an XP bonus, I think it is.
You probably go through like 6 hours of trying to make the mods work just to goon once, but anyway.
This type of content has been around for a while. However, platforms like Nexus Mods forbids the most extreme sides of this community, so there's one page especially people go to, but for obvious reasons I'm not going to say it or show it.
I
Or,
know the
some
page you're
people
talking
have
about, but I'm
installed these
blanking on
mods
the name.
because of their crush on Cass or, God forbid, Lily.
But these mods range from adding onto existing themes of the game, like more romance options, or just straight up the actions to do it instead of that black screen drop.
You get an
There was
actual,
one
like,
framework that
interactive
specifically
cutscene.
allowed for these actions to happen, and allowed many other mods with this theme to become compatible with the game, especially with animations and scripts. It was most definitely the backbone for the Fallout gooning community.
And Nexus Mods does have some
See,
of these mods
pissing
as
on
well,
him, yeah, yes.
but as said has very strict guidelines
Alright.
and doesn't allow certain
Took that
mods,
straight from
which is
Postal.
where the other place comes into play, because they offer more questionable and degenerate mods.
Oh,
And the
they
mods
sure do.
don't just involve very violent things with other characters, some involve non-human characters, like Death Claws. Death Claws. What the fuck?
There are a lot of
There's even
people
a
who
mod where
want to
the
have
main
sex with
character
Death
and
Claws.
other
It's weird.
characters could give birth to babies from said interactions for some reason.
But why?
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Now, once again, NSFW modding is somewhat popular surrounding Bethesda games, unfortunately, and some people believe that the NSFW modding part of the community paints a bad image for modding in general and the games.
I don't
and
know.
just an eyesore.
They kind of exist in their own separate realm. Everyone knows they exist, but most people just kind of ignore them.
But gooners are always gonna goon, even if it takes 6 hours in preparation.
For
But
one
thank
nut.
God Gooners have standards and morals, as some mods would start to be created that would start to target some of the characters in-game you can't shoot. You know, the kids.
Like that one NPC that spams dialogue like
To
"Come
Mick and
Mick
Ralph's for
Ralph's
all your shopping needs."
And you can't actually shoot or kill them without mods. Actually, people hated that Mick and Ralph kid so much, I'm pretty sure there was a mod to crucify him that I saw.
Yes, there
But
was.
there were also some very sick mods being created.
But the Fallout modding community and many platforms have a history of immediately shooting down any of these mods that even remotely point to it, and also ban and remove them from their platforms.
And thank God. Can we ban the Deathclaw one next, please?
But back in the day, this problem used to be a lot more prominent, but in the current era is non-existent.
But I am happy to know that there is a mod that permanently removes that little shit from the game. But on the note of gooning, let's talk about one of the most infamous modding stories of Fallout New Vegas.
Is it Dust? Frontier. It's not
Patrolling
called
the
Dust. What's
Mojave almost
Dust?
makes you
What
wish
is
for a
Dust?
nuclear winter.
Now, Fallout
I
The
swear,
Frontier
am
was
I
another
tripping?
highly
That's a thing.
anticipated mod that was an expansion to the base game. with a new map and all, whilst also being
Yeah,
free.
Fallout Dust
It was
is a thing.
originally announced in 2017 with a teaser trailer. It based itself in an unexplored part of the Fallout universe in a snowy Oregon.
It's another mod.
Does anything actually happen in Oregon? I always just assumed it was one of those filler states of America that literally nothing happens in, and it's
America's 50 states, but in reality it's actually only like 6.
all just corn or something. Oh, there's a drug epidemic there. That's Fallout enough. The mod came with 3 different storylines with 3 deviations of well-known factions, such as the NCR Exiles, the Northern Legion, and the Crusaders, which is like a religious brotherhood, I
of
guess.
Steel, yeah.
Along with most of those characters being voiced by a trove of voice actors, including some that were already established in the industry, like Erin Nicole Lundquist, who was in a few anime English dubs and a plethora of shows.
You know what's fucking weird to me? What is it with people having this weird like superiority complex? I just realized I had Spotify song on. What is it with people and this weird superiority complex with like watching anime subs? You're not better because you watched the sub, bro. Okay? Like, there's nothing wrong with someone watching the dub. I saw someone, he was commenting on like it was a clip from Freerun. And no one even acknowledged the clip. They were all just making fun of him because he watches it in dub. And they're like, oh, I bet you don't even speak Japanese. And he responded in Japanese. And he was like, I do speak it. Just not everyone speaks it. So that's why I'm posting the clip in a dub. And also the dub, you can throw a dub on like your second monitor and just ignore it. And like glance over every now and again. Plus, let's be honest, sometimes the dubs are just fucking better. Have you watched the dub for High School DxD? That shit is funny. It's really funny. Like, there are some subs where I'm like, yeah, it's obviously better. Like, JJK's sub and dub is even comparable. No, I still watch the dub because I like it on a second monitor. That's just how I like consuming anime. But, like, I don't know. There's just this weird thing with dub watchers or sub watchers.
Jujutsu Kaisen, X-Men 97, and let's not forget the voice of Noctis in Final Fantasy. The mod was also going to introduce a very promising vehicle system, something Fallout fans have wanted for a while, and even other features like cutscenes, and it had a promising modding team behind it. This mod was in development for 7 years and all around was anticipated to put itself in the modding history books. And it would be put in the modding history books.
It fucking did.
Just for not the right reasons.
Yep.
Which you can probably tell from how many Fallout New Vegas documentaries have been done on it. When the mod launched in early 2021, it actually made the Nexus website struggle quite a bit, due to how many people were attempting to download this mod. That's how popular it was at the time. But that wasn't the only thing. The mod was a tad bit buggy like any Bethesda game.
It's rising, boys.
Works.
And storyline-wise, some people didn't like the fact you weren't playing as your character, the courier. You were playing as somebody that would rescue the courier from the Legion. It wasn't a big deal or a big hit to the story. It was rather a small issue compared to the other problems with the rest of the story. Now, each faction and their storyline had an individual developer for each one, at least for the story. Which means there's like a 1 in 3 chance at least one of the storylines aren't that bad.
They're all shit.
Sorry, I'm dying from a cold. But no, most of the story was very bad. It didn't have a clear direction, and chapters of said story were not weaved together very well.
I don't think it's a good idea to have
some
3
of those
different devs to
mentioned
make a story.
cutscenes just being rip-offs from other games.
I have to admit though, these Enclave suits just have like aura. They're so completely over the fucking top that they wrap around to being cool again.
But probably the worst storyline was with the NCR, which was also one of the longest out of all 3.
Yeah, I remember this.
It was also the one that the creator behind it didn't want anyone else touching their baby, and also acted like a baby themselves. But they were one of the essential modders to the project, so people let them do them so the mod would actually release. But outside of that, the dialogue was overly edgy, somewhat cringe.
When I'm not hanging out with Chloe or climbing the overpass, I'm here drawing porn.
Yep.
Occasionally non-porn, but mostly porn.
And just all around did not fit the atmosphere of a Fallout game.
I'll suck you off for 5 caps.
Some compared the main quest to Call of Duty because it was just purely linear, and for some reason had random horror levels, and even weird survival segments and boss fights.
I don't remember these.
Both Remy Down Under and Smackyard both did good videos covering this, by the way, so go check them out.
But the vehicle mod didn't disappoint except for looking kind of goofy, and they genuinely did do something impressive with the base game of Fallout New Vegas.
You can't shit on them for that.
But is that all? It was just a terrible story, that's it? That's how it became one of the most infamous mods of Fallout New Vegas?
Well, from what I remember, there's some...
well, not entirely.
Interesting
The thing most found very disturbing about this mod was the subtle undertones, to say the least. From one person talking about their stinky feet in detail that makes you think Kojima was writing this shit, to a storyline where you meet lizard people
and you
who have human
them.
breeders, and you have the option to have intimate time with the Queen, not before the 20 dialogue lines alluding to the fact people in this universe do things with snake people.
A lot of humans find us attractive. I don't know how to feel about that.
And let's not forget that
also, why are you adding random S's? If anything, the S should be here at the end of humans. Or, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense in find because it ends on an S, so you'd be dragging on the S. But the whole thing with, like, snakes in media is, or snake people, it's whenever they say an S, or like when the C sounds like an S, that they have the S sound. They don't just go like, the human finds, because it just sounds like they're fucking retarded. It just sounds like they're brain damaged, as opposed to a snake.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Like, he just sounds fucking stupid.
Forget that one part that was supposed to be a joke and a play on the Wild Wilderness Perk, where you can do it with a female Deathclaw.
What is with people and wanting to do intimate things with a Deathclaw? Why?
And
I think it's just the idea of like it's
where you can find a girl that
it's that weird kink of like, oh, he's so strong that he'll overpower. Well, it's a fucking it, I guess, because it does go both ways. But from my understanding, it is usually women, with this kind of fantasy. But it's like, oh, they're so strong that I literally couldn't do anything, even if I wanted to, and for whatever reason, that's like a kink.
Mentally distraught after she lost her parents, and there are a number of speech checks
Nobody here loves you.
Demoralize her further so that she stays with you and you own her.
Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
And if you thought it wasn't bad already, if you access her inventory for some reason or another, there is a note describing how she just turned 18. Just why?
There was also an empty contraceptive in the starting area, for some reason.
Hey, bro, you want to see an empty contraceptive? Just fucking come to Ireland and leave your house, bro. I swear to God, every day when I walk around, I find a condom. Maybe not used. Actually, I do hope it's used, because otherwise you're just wasting perfectly good balloons. It's not the nickname. What's the nickname people use for them again?
Was bad and influenced by some people's gooner thoughts, and some were borderline alarming. The mechanics were alright, but the mod overall was just disappointing, if you got it to work, that is. Also, there was an entire cult created because you couldn't play the Enclave, and all this originated from 4chan, and the devs responded by saying on a stream that the Enclave is essentially for Trump supporters, which really didn't make 4chan essentially for Trump supporters. And the devs responded by saying on a stream that the Enclave is essentially for Trump supporters.
Huh?
Which really didn't make 4chan that happy, and they created their own group called Sneedclave, which began trolling and harassing the devs, who then later backtracked and said they didn't include the Enclave because it was too much work.
But 4chan wasn't done there, as they would look at the devs themselves and find out one of the devs were responsible for making brony and content involving those underage.
Of all groups of people in the world, of all communities in the world that you can piss off, 4chan is probably the one you want to piss off the least, because they are the people who will put in all the time and effort to pull up every single thing you have ever done.
That they would draw.
And they also found a message where they were moving to a different platform because that platform actually allowed that type of art he was doing.
And that's basically what happened with this mod. Once again, there are other videos that show a lot more problems with this mod.
But once again, the mod did have some impressive features, especially
Yeah, from what I've
the
heard, the mod
vehicle
itself,
mechanic, to
gameplay-wise,
the point
was,
where
like,
some would
fine.
request the lead dev to release that individually, of which they would say no because the community harassed them and they would have to play the mod to experience that feature. But
What?
people found a way around it, and you can actually use
Yeah,
it
no
without
shit.
the mod. But this
They
mod
would,
was also
they would just
impressive
download it, go into the files, and just find the file and extract that one.
with what they were able to do with the level design, even for an ancient engine.
The mod did get some updates, removing some things. Apparently they removed the whole Deathclaw thing.
Good.
Thank God.
But the mod was over, and Fallout the Frontier would become a stain on the Fallout New Vegas modding community. A team led by the original leader did attempt to recreate the mod called Fallout the New Frontier, and it would be a redemption arc for the mod, removing a lot of the problems. But as of right now, it apparently is going to release in 2027 to 2032.
Fucking 5, bro, come on. What does that even mean? Like, oh, I'll release it in 2027 if I feel up to it. If not, though, I'll release it in 2032. It's like me talking about the Ban video. It's like, oh yeah, I'll release the second one in like a week. Or 6. I don't fucking know. I actually haven't even started the second one yet. I wrote up a script for it. Like, a script outline. I've written one up. But I haven't actually done any recording yet because I was waiting for my desk to arrive. Because it's just, I can get more consistent audio with this desk just because of the layout. So I should start that, but I'm streaming today, obviously. I mean, we've already been live for 3 hours. How long is this, Lendy Tubbies? Half hour. I'm gonna get probably an hour out of that, let's be honest. So that's going to be 4 hours. We're going to go back to Borderlands 4 for like 2 hours. So it's just, I actually forgot to change as well. To change my
So in conclusion, isn't the Fallout New
not
Vegas
community,
modding
the thing
community
on Twitch
great?
that says what you're doing. It's still under Borderlands 4.
It is actually quite an impressive community, essentially keeping a game alive that is very old and constantly pushing the technological boundaries of such a limited game.
Just ease up on the Guna mods and the Guna influence, for God's sake.
But anyway, I've loved Fallout in general since I was a little sperm cell, and I'm happy to see the community is still alive to this day and people are still making content around it.
Regarding my next run, which might be soon after looking around the modding community, I'm thinking about modding my next playthrough, at least the graphics.
And probably just
I've never actually modded the graphics of New Vegas.
the graphics.
I've never
I don't
touched
need every
graphics.
variation of the M4 platform in my
See, I have done that though.
playthrough.
But in regards to all of this, gooning never changes. But yeah, that's all I had to say, and bye-bye.
Cool. Moral of the story. Don't trust femboys or gooners. Both of them ruin everything, I guess. I don't fucking know. Go outside.